So we're going to call this meeting of the General Government Committee to order. We're joined by my colleagues on the committee, Councilors Walsh and Edwards. Thank you for joining. The only agenda item we have for today is what I'll refer to as the revisions to the dumpster ordinance as brought forward by the fire department. This matter was previously before this committee 2 meetings ago and passed first step on October 3rd and is scheduled for second and third step on the 17th. So the purpose of this meeting is to receive public input and further commentary as requested at the last regular meeting of the council. The council staff did reach out to 4 of the largest dumpster providers in the city as a result of the information provided by Commissioner Kelby. Those four companies were, let me just get the line. Waste Management, USA Hauling, Associated Building Wrecking, and Charlie Armette Trucking. Sean from our office reported that the only one that indicated an interest after outreach from the council staff in attending was Associated Building Wrecking. And they indicated that they would send someone to be here today, but I don't yet see them in the meeting. So that's sort of the background. We're also joined by Commissioner Kelby, Councilors Allen, Hurst, and Click Bruce. So unless there's any questions from the committee members first or testimony from the committee members first, well, why don't we entertain that? Is there any questions or comments from the committee members first? Councilors Walsh or Edwards?
Well, I would just be interested to know what the reaction of the business owners were, which I hope we get some feedback on.
Well, you know, I described the extent of the outreach and what they've sort of done, but other than that, I don't have any reactions from them.
Since I really don't think it was the ordinance itself that was the issue. I think it was the notification and imposing a fee without notice. That was my concern.
I understand. So, you know, it's not a perfect process for notifying all interested parties in these types of circumstances. Sean indicated that he made every effort to reach those 4 companies, and that was our best effort to estimate which companies should be reached out to based on the information provided by Commissioner Kelby. But certainly if there's other businesses that councilors think should be aware, then there's still time to do that before the next meeting and to solicit their feedback.
I do have another question, because this ordinance only applies to a certain size, correct? It's not all dumpsters.
Commissioner?
Yeah, 6 cubic yards and above.
And is that what most people have in their driveways?
A lot of people, homeowners oftentimes have smaller ones.
Yeah.
These are more of the bigger dumpsters. So 6 cubic yards, that's usually 3, those are usually the 18-foot long ones by 4 foot or 5 foot tall by 8 foot wide.
So if it's a smaller dumpster, there's no fee for the homeowner or the hauler?
No. 4 cubic yard dumpsters is the next size down. There's no permit or no fee for those.
Okay. You know, I have to say that most people I've talked to about this issue, they were unaware that a permit was required for a dumpster. Have you found that?
We give out 1,000 dumpster permits a year, so.
Well, I must be talking to the other ones because people I've mentioned it to were surprised.
You have anything else, Councilor Walsh?
No, I mean, those are my issues, the notification and the differences.
Thank you. Councilor Hurst?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. Did we actually reach the owners, do you know, or individuals from those particular companies? Or did we just leave messages and not speak to anybody? Sounds like we spoke to Associated Building Records, but what about the other three? What was the extent of the outreach?
I cannot speak to that, except that Sean said that he tried to reach them based on the information he was able to gather online from these companies. I don't want to speak for him. I don't know exactly what took place.
Got it. I think it would be good to know in advance. You know, it's one thing if we've talked to them, let them know, and they decide not to send anybody because they're not concerned. And it's another thing, you know, if we just didn't reach them based off of our one attempt to reach out to them, and you know, then we just move forward and pass the ordinance anyway. So it'd be nice if we can make more attempts, if there was only one or a limited number made, just to see if we can just reach out to actually talk to a physical person to the extent possible. Just would be my thoughts.
Okay, I'll ask the staff to type up a summary of what was done so everybody can be aware. And, you know, as with this meeting and the last two meetings on this issue, actually last three meetings on this issue, they're all public meetings. And I would encourage counselors who are interested in having business owners or people from the public attend to ask them to do that. Okay. Anything else? All right.
Are there, Councilor Fenton, are there permit police? I mean,
Well, I guess, you know, Commissioner Kelby, how do we, I suspect that part of the reason for bringing this forward is the department became aware one way or another that people were having dumpsters without permits and that there would be some type of enforcement action planned for the future if that's the case. Can you speak to that?
Sure. The reason that this came up, part of the reason was the last two billing cycles that we've been mailed out dumpster permits, we've had 42 permits returned that were undeliverable and people chose not to pay. When we started doing the background research on that, companies were changed, corporations were changed, the property was sold, it now has a new business owner, has a new property owner, and there's no permits on the dumpsters, and in several cases, people weren't taking out their permits. We contacted the haulers to have the dumpsters removed and received little to no help from the haulers on getting the dumpsters removed. So that's what really was the impetus for making this change, is to hold the haulers responsible for their dumpsters in the city of Springfield to make sure, i.e. one, they are permitted, and number two, the permits are paid.
What would be the, so let's say we pass this, what would be the enforcement mechanism if somebody doesn't pull the permit, doesn't pay the fee? What would the penalty be?
I believe there's in the ordinance if you don't pull a permit after you're ordered to get one. So then we can start fines, and then there's the appeal process for the fines.
Okay, thank you. And also joined here by Councilor Govan. Thank you, Councilor, for joining.
Sorry, I'm late.
Oh, it's okay. So I think we wrapped up everybody else's questions so far. We don't have anybody here from the dumpster industry, but there was some level of outreach that was made by the council, and it was an expressed desire to have a summary of that information available at the next meeting, which we'll do. And so if you've got any questions, Councilor Govan, now would be a good time. We're also joined by Councilor Whitfield.
No,
Sorry, I'm
thank,
late.
Hi, Councilor Whitfield. That's okay.
thank you. No, I didn't have any questions. I just wanted to hear the concerns from the constituents and from the dumpster haulers. So thank you for having this meeting.
Happy to. So I mentioned it earlier in the meeting that the council staff did reach out to the 4 most prominent dumpster companies that operate in the city: Waste Management, Associated Building Wreckers, Charlie Armette Trucking, and USA Hauling. And as reported to me by Sean in our office, he was only able to get interest from one of them. I'm not sure what the extent of the contact with the others was, other than to say that he said that he did reach out to them. And Associated Building Wreckers said they were going to send somebody here today, and they are not here. So that was the extent of our outreach, and going to get a write-up from Sean as to, exactly who he reached, or what numbers he called, and how he attempted to reach out to them before the next meeting. Okay, Councilor Whitfield, if you have any comments or questions, now would be a good time. Otherwise, I think we're all done.
I am all set. I think I had the same concerns as everyone else, and just based on the gist of what you said, I guess they are answered.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay,
Thank you.
all those in favor, Councilor Edwards? You're muted.
Are we, since it did pass first step, are we making entertaining a motion for a recommendation back to the committee of the whole?
Sure, I would entertain that motion first, if that's okay with Councilor Walsh, if you'd be willing to withdraw your motion for Councilor Edwards's motion.
Well, I still want to hear from the business owners, so I think we have time. So I would not support that right now.
Okay. So all those in favor of the motion to adjourn, Councilor Edwards?
So, I'll second that motion.
Okay.
And yes.
Councilor Walsh?
I'd like you to run our city council meetings like this, Mike. Yes.
Okay, and I'm a yes. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good
See you
night.
next week.